Well, hello, Virginia. Yeah. Well, hello, Pat.
Hello there.
Hello, Tim.
Hello.
Hello, Kimra. Hello, Virginia.
Hami ski.
Beloski, Carson.
I've been busy having train.
Train.
And I had problems. I could get into the box, but I didn't see the third lesson. I saw the first two lessons, but I didn't see the third one. The days.
Huh.
And then I had problems. Then I had problems with Zoom again.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't post the third lesson yet.
Oh, good. So I'm not okay. So that was no problem.
Yeah. So I sent the third lesson out. Did you get that?
No.
I sent it email.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah. Pat got it. Lisa, did you get it? Lesson number 3. Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's just recent. Maybe I haven't checked.
Okay.
Tim, do you want me to forward mine to you?
Nah, I can look later. He probably sent it to me. It's just
Yeah. Okay.
been one of those days.
Okay. Well, if okay, so I don't post the lesson until after the class.
Okay, so I can look that later. Okay.
Yeah. Just because sometimes I make little changes to it. So and then, but if you don't get it before the class, feel free to contact me directly via email, and I can, email it again to you. Okay.
Because it took me 15 minutes to get into Zoom, so I didn't
Oh,
check.
really? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's cuckoo.
So, Michael,
Yes.
on our screen, there's you, me, Tim, Heather, Lisa, and then it's a white square with a line through a pink thing, and it says Michael McIntyre.
That's his new way of doing it.
With his hand held up.
That's his new way of doing it.
That is our secret government surveillance.
I don't care.
That one day we will be all asked to decipher a spy, and it's
just to make sure that we are not engaging in any top secret
I don't care
activities with this strange language we're learning, exchanging code. Okay, yeah. No, like Tim said, Zoom is just being very strange.
okay.
And I cannot share sound on my main computer, so I have to log on my second computer, and then share any visuals I have, any songs I have on that, and I can share sound on that. And to go back to the main computer, it doesn't, I can't play on my speakers sound.
Mhm.
So I have to hook up a Bluetooth to play sound.
How's that?
I mean, it's Sgeulachd.
Oh,
Great
wow.
word. Great word.
Well, I'm
Sgeulachd.
Kukalak. Does that mean craziness?
Yeah. It means all discombobulated.
Ah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, I'm impressed with your ability to figure all that out. Create that solution.
Um, putting it together with baling wire and duct tape. So, all right. So, well, Lisa, good to see you. Yeah, Fàilte. Okay. Okay.
Happy to be back. Sorry, I missed the first two classes.
Okay.
Oh, I did have a question for you. I tried to watch lesson 1. It said the video is private.
Okay. Well, let me check that.
But week 2 was fine. I was able to watch that.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, let me check. I'll make a note and I'll get in there and I will check that. We have been doing review.
I saw that.
Yeah. And we will continue that today. Probably for another week or so.
Okay.
Just bring us up to speed, review everything, make sure that we're on, on An Dà Shealladh, the same page. And so anyway, but I will, okay. Yeah. So I'll check the YouTube and make sure that that's, available. And again, as you do that, if you encounter any issues, feel free to contact me, and I can, I can't do it right now. I won't do you any good right at the moment. But but if you do it some other time, I can get in there and fix that. So anyway, oh, very good. And Dee, good to see you. Fàilte, okay. And Heather, Kamrao.
Haguma.
Aguma, Gleva, Amitolacha. Okay, so any other orders of business? Any other questions? Listen, what do we have? Let's see. Well, I want to send Tim the lesson, and of course I'll upload it to Google. Okay. And everybody's caught that I've shifted the Dropbox over to Google.
Because I had to get permission from you to look at it.
No, that was my mistake.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, well, you did that one time, but it shouldn't be like that.
All right.
It was it should be available, generally available. And I went in there and I saw that somehow it wasn't. So anyway, so I gave you permission, but I will make sure that it's generally available now from now on. Okay,
maybe that was the reason that the first lesson wasn't. I couldn't watch it.
Maybe, or it could just be it could just be the loose nut holding the wheel. All right, okay, all right, but I'll try to get all that worked out. So that's a new system as well. All these new systems I've got to adapt to. So all right, so anyways, did you have a question there, Pat? Sound.
You're muted.
Oh, there you go.
Jay and I, the news of the week. Last weekend, Tim went up twice to.
No, only once.
Oh, once to the Viking Festival, and it was a big success. Everyone liked it. We had a sign-up list for the Gaelic beginner class, date to be set. And I'm told by our member Steve Holcomb, who likes to read he kind of self-taught on Gaelic, not beyond beginner, but he's not afraid to speak it. So he got someone to sign up. and I told him, well, to try to just make a photo of the page so I can get it to you. So,
Okay.
so then in October, we have 3 different clan members that are going to have tents at the Ventura game.
Uh-huh.
So that's really where James always got most of his people. Well, the Vista games, but that didn't happen.
Right, yeah, okay.
So I wanted to know, is that too late to bring you names?
No, I can deal with it.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Just figure something out.
Okay, then I'll
Okay.
proceed.
Yeah, proceed. Okay. All right, Leva. Okay. Any other questions or issues to bring up? All right. Okay. Let's see what we got then. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me go back to share. Okay, let's do the share. All right. Screen. Okay. All right. Okay. So can you see the screen now?
Yes.
All right, Leva. We told you. Okay. All right. Gael talk. Okay. Bliana aga class 3. Okay. Nishar Gaelic Vrishja, Neverlach Lishja. Okay. You should all know what that means by now. Okay. Better broken Gaelic than fluent English. Okay. Okay. And our Piper of the Week. Okay. So, a brave Piper. Anyway, all right. Okay. And I guess we all have this invite link that's working, so that's good. Okay. And then my contact information if ever you so that's not correct. I don't have the YouTube link yet for this class. Okay. I will when I post this, you'll have the YouTube link, and I'll send out a revised copy of this with any little changes. Okay. And I will include the YouTube link. Okay. So I don't have because what I do is I copy the front page week to week, just to save myself a little work. And so that's why it had a YouTube link, and it shouldn't. Okay. So anyway, but anyway, okay. And then the permanent Google Drive. And if I've done it correctly, or if I do it correctly, the files should be available to anybody who has the link. So anyway, all right, okay. All right. Klarna Shekhinah. Schedule of the week. So Fàilte, okay, so we're doing Fàilte, okay. Seanfhacal Shekhinah, yeah. And let's go Gràmar Shekhinah. We'll review the irregular past tense. Next week we'll do the I guess we got 2 or 3 more weeks of review. Next week we'll do the regular past tense. And after that, we'll do the irregular future tense, and then the regular future tense, and then we'll be ready to go on to new material. Okay. All right. So, and I hope this is Sgeulachd na Shekhinah. I'm going to talk about An Dà Shealladh, second sight, and Òran na Shekhinah, Nuair Og. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, okay. Seanfhacal na Shekhinah. Búnagar bui le foiitstin. Búnagar bui le foiitstin. Victory is won with patience. Okay, so that's a very valuable reminder. Okay, Búnagar bui le foiitstin. Okay. Success comes through steady endurance rather than quick flashes of effort. Gaelic culture, weather, sea, and land test people daily. Patience is a practical virtue. You wait for the right wind, the right tide, the right season. It implies self-control. Rushing can squander a chance that patient work would secure. So hint, so I always like to bring it back to, if possible, learning. I mean, patient study a little bit each day, even when progress feels slow. Studying wins the victory. Language notes. Okay, we haven't gotten to this yet, but buniger, a future habitual passive form of bunig, which is to win. So there's a special form, buniger, okay, and it's the future tense for the future and habitual passive form, passive voice. Okay, so anyway, something for us to look forward to. Gaelic never ceases revealing new wonders. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. All right. So this week we're going to review the irregular past tense verbs. So let me call up my where are we? I have to figure out where we are. Just bear with me a second. I have it right here. Just gotta have a couple. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Right here. Okay. All right. So I trust we can all see this.
Yes.
You irregular past tense verbs. Okay. Simple past tense. Year 2. Okay. All right. Okay. So, so here are the key verbs. Now remember, one of the favors that Gaelic does us. Very often Gaelic doesn't do us any favors, but this is one instance that it does. Where English has something like 200 irregular verbs, and by irregular I mean you cannot predict the what the past tense is. I mean, so regular verbs, that the past tense of walk is walked. The past tense of trying to think of another verb, bow is bowed. Okay, he bowed to the king or something like that, right? So, but if you don't know the language, you can't guess that the past tense of see, as in to see something, is saw, or the past tense of sit is sat. Okay, or the past tense of put is put. These are irregular. There's no predicting what they are. Okay, so anyway, so Gaelic has 10 irregular past tense verbs. So down from 200 in English to only 10 in Gaelic. And as is very common with irregulars in any language, very often they are the most used. So I don't have all 10 here, but I have what 8 of the most common. Okay, so all right, so hi went. I went. Rain did or made. Okay. Hanukkah came. Hunuk saw, as in, past tense of the verb to see. Hula heard. Hook gave. Okay. It's also sometimes take. Yeah? All right. So, but just for our purposes, hook, hook a etiquette hole. He gave money to me. Okay. Right. Hur got. Okay. Sometimes it can mean to find something. And Hurst said when we read stories. I mean, you see a lot of Hurst. Hirschday, okay? Right, so, Show, out of here, Hirschday, he said, all right? Okay. All right, so, so here, a little quick review over what I just showed you, just to test to see if you're paying attention. What does this word mean?
Went.
Went, very good. Okay. And how about this one?
It did.
Made or did.
Do.
Yeah, made or did, either or. So Gaelic does not make a distinction between the two. I mean, though you can pick up the meaning, what's meant. He did something or he made something, right? Okay. This one?
Came.
Yeah, coming or
Came.
came. Yeah. Simple past tense. Came. Hanek. Hudik. Saw. Very good. Okay. Hula.
Heard.
Heard. Yeah. Hook.
Gave.
Gave.
Yeah. Gave. Okay. Yeah. You can also use it in the sense of to take somebody someplace. Okay. Hooké me out the car yon school. He took me in a car to school. Okay. Right. So, right. Hur.
Got.
Yeah. Got. All right. Leva. All right. Hurst.
Said.
Very good. Okay. Hurst. All right. Okay. Fill in the blank. What do we say?
Hunik me.
Hunik me fil ma areir. Very good.
Hunik me. Fill in the
Opergaki or Sgeulachd. What does she do with the Opergaki? The homework?
Rin.
Rain.
Rain.
Yeah, very good.
Rain.
Yeah, rain. Okay.
Did.
RINN. Rainy Opergaki or Sgeulachd. Yeah, she did the homework. Okay. All right. Okay.
They. I have some.
Hi.
A couple more. Kai Shinyan
I
Tile
went.
stuff
I
or
or
Hook.
Hanek. You can also use
came.
we came to the
Honey.
hotel. Hanek or Kai. So this would be either or. Okay. Something Iet Gunro on teacher train.
The busy teacher. Something. Okay.
Yeah, the busy
Hook.
teacher.
Hook.
What? Huh?
Hook. Gave. No.
Or Hurst Iet. Yeah, okay, Hurst, yeah.
Hurst.
Very good.
Said.
Or it could be they said the teacher was busy. Okay,
Oh.
Gunro teacher train. Or they could also see Hunikia.
Hunik.
Yeah. So, keep in mind that in, grammar exercises like this, sometimes there's more than one right answer. All right. Okay. And in our case, I mean, whatever kind of makes sense. Right. Okay. Something your young teacher.
Hook.
Huh?
Hook.
Hook. Yeah. Hook. Me your young teacher. I
Gave
gave
the
a
book to the teacher.
to the teacher. Yeah. I gave a book to the teacher. Very good. Okay. Okay. All right. Sgeulachd An Dà Shealladh. Okay. So a Sgeulachd would be what?
Ticket.
No, that would be
Sgeulachd?
ticket.
Oh.
Sgeulachd would be what do you get on a la bray?
Your birthday. A gift? Oh, that means gift.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. Gift.
yeah,
It's for your birthday. All right.
Yeah. So what happened with the gift on the birthday?
Someone
Or-
gave it to you.
Or.
Hur, yeah, hur, I got, or he got, yeah. Sgeulachd, okay. An odd quirk of the language, Sgeulachd can also mean a burial or a funeral. So,
That's not a good present.
Yeah.
I don't that one.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay, so Vuyen, it would be a group or a club. And so
Horse.
Her.
Hersht, yeah, Hersht. I hello rish avuyan. Okay, she said hello to the group, okay, to the club, okay. Iet Yanfarti Fesker Jasarnia.
Hi.
Sister.
Hi, yeah. And I guess we could also go with Hanek. She came to the party. She went to the party. Either or. Perfectly all right. Okay. Fill in the blank, the answers. Okay. All right. So we have some at least the answers that I came up with. Okay. Hanek. I was thinking of Hanek here, but Kai is perfectly fine. Okay. Okay. So the question form. So just like what the first verb that we learned, ha, has a special question form, avel. Yeah. Ha mi trang. A question would be avel u trang. Ha mi fur. Avel u fur. Okay. So Gaelic has this special form for a question. Unlike in English, where we use the same verb form. Maybe change the order a little bit. So I was tired. The question would be, was I tired? Okay. All right. So anyway, so the question and the irregular verbs are even more irregular. Now, next week when we review the regular form of the verbs, we'll see that, well, they're more regular. Okay. They're more predictable. But here, sometimes you can't tell what it's going to do. Okay. So anyway. So the question form would be Chai Anjech. Anjech. Okay. And to make a little note, okay, the negative is the same as the question form. So Anjech, Chajech, or Nachjech. Okay. Rain, Andorain. Andorain. Okay. Sometimes you'll see it as Andrain. You'll see it and hear it, and you can see how that would come. Andrain. Okay. So Hanek, be Antonic. Okay. And negative would be Chatonic. Okay. Rain would be Chatorain. Okay. Hunik would be Amphaka. So you see how irregular that is, and we kind of go back to the root word, fake, F-A-I-C. Kind of go back to the fake. Amphakatu, Hanaka. No, I didn't see. Anakami. Hula, Ankula. We lose the lenition. Okay? Which is kind of you see, that's kind of regular. That is one regular feature of this form of the question. We were losing the lenition, except for hooer. We got ondoer, and that's short for ondour. But of course, the FH goes away, and we have a sound that's very much like a vowel, and then ondour. Okay. It just glides together with the D. Okay. And Hersht, Antursht. Okay. Antursht. All right. Okay. All right. Practice making questions. Okay, so we want to turn these sentences into questions. So example would be Hunik fil ma arer. Amfaka fil ma arer. Okay? We want to make the question. All right. So Hunik mi mukhmara al savur. A question.
Amfaka.
Amfaka mi mukmara.
Amfaka mi mukmara. Mukvara on Savur. And what's a mukvara?
Whale?
Whale.
Very good. It's a whale. Yeah.
It's a pig.
It's a pig at sea.
I watched this guy talking about everything's pig. Whales are pigs and some other things are pigs.
Yeah, mukvara. Okay. I love that.
The
Okay,
sea
right.
pig.
Hayat Agalapa.
On J.
Very good. On
Check.
Jechiat Agalapa. Yeah, on Jechiat Agalapa. Yeah, very good. Okay. Hook on Nian Chilach Ya. Make a question. The Nian, the girl, gave a Chila, a present, yeah, to him. Yeah. Okay. Well, she either gave a funeral or a present.
I hope it's a present.
Yeah. We hope it's a present. Okay. All right. So how would you ask it as a question?
Antuk?
Antuk.
Antuk. Very good. Antuk. Yeah. Antuk. Hur ambalach chialach.
On the fur or on deer?
Andur. Yeah. Very good. Andur ambalach chialach. So the girl gave the present to him, and the boy or the lad received the gift, the present. Okay. All right. All right. Hulashin kill bean.
On hula.
Hula.
On kula.
Kula.
Yeah, kula.
With no H.
Yeah. On kula. Yeah. No H. Loses the lanish. On kulashin kill bean. And what does bean mean? Do you remember?
Sweet.
Yeah. Very good. Sweet.
Duolingo has it.
Oh, okay. But only in regards to music.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, so the cake is not bean, so the kale is bean, sweet music. Okay. Right. Okay. Rainy opergaki.
On the rain. I mean, on the.
Yeah. Very good. On the rain or on drain. Okay. Either or. Okay. In writing, you'll see it as either or. Okay. And very often, I suppose people would, whether they're thinking of it being spelled either way, they'd very often pronounce it more like Andrain. Okay. Okay. Hooke lor yon teacher.
And
took.
On took, yeah. On took a lor yon teacher. Did he give a book to the teacher? Yon teacher. Okay. On took. Haneke Yanakeli.
On tonic.
Very good. On Tanaki Yanakeli. Did she come to the Kaylee? Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's build a story together.
Oh, no.
Okay. Each person adds a sentence. Use a different verb from today's list. Okay. So starting sentence would be Hi Mari dan vu anje. Okay. That's a starting sentence. And what do we got? Do I have a list? Yeah. Okay. So Hi. All right. So who wants to go next? It could either be a question or a statement.
Okay. I will. Hi, Ian. Jan school.
Jan school. Okay. Who goes next?
Hulmi Kyo.
Hulmi Kyo. Okay. Gleva. All right. Who goes next?
Rin me kick.
Rain me cake. Okay. Gleva.
That's good.
Made a cake. Made a cake. Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Kunik me. Kunik did.
Kunik. Okay. What?
Kunik ia a filma.
I'm film. I'm film.
Film.
Okay. Uh-huh. I'm film. Okay. Gleva. They saw a film. Okay. Okay. Another one. Somebody else?
Kula Ankula, the Ankula, Agoper. They heard Akula Agoper. Akula Agoper. They heard at work.
Because Anakav in the field.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
A group effort there. Thanks.
Okay. On Kulatu on Oper on Sanaka, did you hear the work in the field? Okay.
Go a goat. Go var. A goat.
Oh, on Gore. Okay, yeah.
I know what that was.
Yeah.
See, I got it.
Yeah, on Gore. Okay.
That's where he was in the field.
Okay, yeah, on Sanaka. Okay, Gleba. Okay. Now let's see. I don't think we had Hirsch yet. Somebody want to go with Hirsch?
Hirsch me Rudikin Rish.
Hirsch
You
me
heard
what?
something else. What did you hear?
Oh, Hirsch to be old.
What did you say?
Hirsch me Rudikin Rish.
Hirsch me what?
I said something to him.
So she said Rudikin.
Rudikin Rish.
Hirsch me Rutigen Rish. Okay, yeah. I said something to him. Okay, Gleba. Okay, all right, Gleba. Okay. Okay. So for next week, I would like you to write 3 to 5 sentence story using at least 5 of today's verbs, or 3 to 5 of today's verbs. Okay,
in past tense?
Yeah, in past tense.
Okay.
In simple past tense, okay? And then, so do that for next week, and that'll be our challenge. All right, Bleva, please. Okay, so a 3 to 5 sentence story using, and then we'll say, so yeah, at least 3 to 5 verbs, okay? Simple past tense, Bleva. All right, okay, so let's go here. Okay, any questions? I shouldn't have ready to begin just questions. Question some B. Any questions about what we've just done? About the verbs?
No.
Okay. Bleva. So okay, so I hope that was a good refresher. And next week we will go over the rules for the simple the simple past tense for the regular verbs. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll review the future tense. Now we'll pay special attention to the future tense because I kind of have the feeling, or if my memory serves me correctly, we might have rushed the future tense at the end of our previous year. Okay, so that'll probably pick up, a full lesson. You're using the future tense, and like with the past tense, there are the irregular verbs, the 8 to 10 irregular verbs, and then the regular verbs, and so those are quite different species of animals. Okay, of animals, okay, that we've got to learn. So, so we'll start there, and that'll launch us into, kind of new material. Okay, so we'll just consider the future tense to be the simple future tense. Okay, and then remember too that when we learn all this, we can make a distinction between, so when we first started, we were using the verbal noun almost exclusively. But keep in mind that the verbal noun kind of works in Gaelic like the ing form works in English. There's a distinction to be made between, say, I was going and I went. Those are different. They have slightly different meanings. Okay, so now we started off because the verbal noun form is so easy and so easily adaptable to English syntax and meaning. We started off doing a lot with the verbal noun form, okay? But now we're going to become proficient in the simple verb past and future tenses. And so So we will be using those more and more. Okay. And then just one more word. Keep in mind that English doesn't really have a future tense. English has what's called a future aspect. It requires the helping verb, I will go. Okay, so but there is still the parallel between say in Gaelic we will say be me a dole, or well, a little preview, or H me. Okay, and the parallel would be I will be going versus I will go. Okay, so you still have that kind of parallel structure and parallel meaning. Okay, so anyway, but we'll get to that. All right. So any questions so far? All right. Okay. So let's see what we got now. Okay. All right. Okay. What do we got? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to call up another PowerPoint. All right. I want to do share screen. Okay. Okay. An Dà Shealladh, the two sites, or as commonly, literally the two sites, like the two ways of seeing. In Gaelic, it's that's what it means in Gaelic. In English, we very often say second sight, which is kind of interesting because English emphasizes the second way of seeing, while Gaelic puts them to be parallel, which is probably more accurate in the point of view of Gaelic culture. So one isn't really separate. Okay, they're just two different ways to see things. Okay, so all right, so let's go forward. Okay, so the second sight, or more correctly, the two sights, is the ability to see both this world and the other world. Gaelic culture has this view of of the other world, and think of it in traditional culture. It's somewhat parallel to a belief in another dimension. So for instance, if you're familiar with what the story of Narnia, the witch in the wardrobe, you go through the wardrobe and you end up in the other world, the world of the fairies and all that. That's very much a Gaelic idea. Okay, yeah, of course, adapted by C.S. Lewis to modern storytelling form, but that kind of other dimension is embedded in Gaelic culture. And the second sight has never been regarded as witchcraft in Scotland. Well, first, it was never regarded as just simply a storytelling format, but as a reality. Okay, and later, when I talk about the fairy folk, we'll get a better idea of what exactly we're talking about, because these two worlds, and very often the other world, is ill-defined. So one thing about Gaelic culture is a lot of this stuff is not written down. Well, only written down after the fact, not written down in any kind of Bible, and you have a dogma or a doctrine. Okay, and people fought and argued over exactly what these things mean. So there's a lot of flexibility and shifting of meaning and conceptions. But but the second sight has never been regarded as witchcraft in Scotland. And see, so a lot of times it's the ability to see, into the other world, but also sometimes see the future. Okay? And it was not an ability that's volitional. That is, somebody who has the sight cannot turn it on and off. Very often it comes of its own volition. It comes on its own. Somebody sees a vision and and they see what they see, and it's not that they're wishing for it. So it's not like somebody with the second sight can go, oh, well, yeah, what numbers are going to come up in the lottery tonight? So I'm going to go buy that ticket. Well, it's nothing like that. You can't, the people who have this, for the most part, cannot will it. They can't do it on purpose. And sometimes it's not even always a blessing. Sometimes it's a curse. I mean, just imagine walking down the street and all of a sudden you see, into the other world. I mean, so you can't tell the difference between whether it's this world or the fairy folk of the other world. And, so the quote I picked up, take patience with the lad, for he is the sight, and it's a terrible affliction. So sometimes it's a bit of a trouble. See into the other world, or the Dà Shealladh. Okay, the two worlds of the living and the dead. Sometimes it's the living and the dead. So again, it's not clearly defined. Sometimes it's the dead, the ancestors, or the living and the fairy folk. Okay, so it's so it can be ill-defined. Okay. Sometimes it's a gift of communication from the ancestors or the spirit world, and it's not willed and not always considered a gift per se, right? There's a linkage between the sight, the bard, that is the poet, the seer, and the druid. So all these forms here kind of overlap. Okay, so very often the bard was seen as being somebody imbued with some sort of prophetic sight. Okay, and of course the seer, is somebody who can see into the other world, of course. And druids in very ancient times, pre-Christian times, were very often thought to be endowed with the sight. Okay, so okay, so here we have a depiction, a painting. I think this is from like the 1800s. I think this is of Òran, the great Gaelic poet of pre-Christian era. And so here you see he's depicted as somebody who he's blind, but he's seeing into the other world. And here he sees into the world of the ancestors and tells of the great deeds of the ancestor warrior heroes. So it has to do with seeing into another dimension, precognition, that is seeing things that have not yet happened. Okay, so before cognition, knowing. Okay, distant viewing, and in just a couple slides, I'll tell a story about somebody who got into trouble with some distant viewing. Okay, that is seeing things that are not happening right here, but somewhere else at the same time, but like hundreds of miles away. And sometimes telepathy. Okay, receiving messages from people who aren't in your immediate vicinity. Deeply embedded in Gaelic culture. Now, the church in Scotland, especially the Presbyterian church, Protestant church, tended to frown on second sight. So I'll take a little moment here to make a little remark about that. In Scotland, there is a distinction between the attitudes of the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church. And very often it was Presbyterian. So when you think of the Presbyterian Church in Scotland, think fundamentalist. I don't know. What was that movie that was made, decades ago, about dancing, about you can't dance?
Oh, it was a little boy, and he was dancing, and
yeah, and he was dancing, and his father didn't want him to.
Footloose.
Billy Elliot.
Yeah, Billy Elliot.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that was a little bit different. Even before
Footloose.
Oh,
Oh yeah, but the church. Okay, His church. Okay, it is Footloose. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Was it like slow dancing or slow dance or whatever it
no
was? Anyway.
dancing. There's some
Yeah.
kid had
Yeah,
been
okay,
killed, and so no dancing.
yeah. Anyway,
But
so the Protestant church was very much against, Gaelic culture, dancing, singing, playing the music, and in fact, it's generally held today that the Protestant church almost totally destroyed Gaelic culture, and the place where Gaelic culture flourished or continued to flourish was in Catholic areas, because the Catholic Church had a practice of allowing indigenous cultures to thrive alongside of the Christian Church. And so this is so even today. I mean, you go into non-European countries, Africa or South America, and you'll see the people celebrating Christianity along with their ancient beliefs. And so this is very much a Catholic practice. And it's in places like Uist, where the Catholic Church still was predominating, that a lot of the Gaelic culture was able to thrive. Okay, so anyway, but so the Church in Scotland tended to frown on second sight, and as these sorts of things, and this is interesting, these sorts of things depend on people's belief that they're possible. So if you grow up in a culture that believes in the other world, in the second sight, there's a greater tendency that happens. If you grow up in a culture that closes your eyes, closes your mind to such things being possible, it becomes not possible. So first, for this thing to happen, you have to have a belief that it happens. Now, in Gaelic culture, this phenomenon, this belief structure was deeply embedded, and along with the belief in witches and fairy folk, and creatures that were not exactly of this world, and to the extent that even very well-educated people in the Gaelic culture today, if you catch them over an ushkabea, over a whiskey, and they're talking amongst themselves, they will confess to a belief of one kind or another in the fairy folk, in
the fairy folk,
second sight. Okay, they will not tell that to an English-speaking person. Okay, but if they trust you, they will talk about the second sight. They'll share stories about the second sight. Now, just as a little aside, I had a student in my class last night, my first year class. Her family, part of her family comes from Mexico, and she says, and so this is very common not only among Gaelic culture, but other cultures in the world, that that there are several people with second sight, or whatever it's called in Spanish, in her family. And so this is true too. It tends to follow family lines, and one way or another, it tends to be hereditary. Now, one other point here is, you see the line, Gaelic witchcraft was never widely persecuted in the Gaeltacht. In the 16 and 1700s, when they were burning witches all across Europe, and especially in England and the English-speaking parts of Scotland, they never did that in the Highlands, because it was generally accepted that these things existed. They weren't seen as evil or being part of the devil. They're seen as part of the natural world. Okay, so witches were not persecuted and burned in the Highlands. Right, okay. So if you were a witch, you wanted to get away to the Highlands. Okay, okay, all right. Anyway, so in the 1600s, Martin of Skye, in his book A Description of the Western Isles of Scotland, wrote, "The second sight is a singular faculty of seeing an otherwise invisible object, without any previous means used by the person that sees it for that end. The vision makes such a lively impression upon the seers that they neither see nor think of anything else except the vision, as long as it continues, and then they appear pensive or joyful, according to the object which was represented to them. So he was writing in English for an English-speaking audience, but he came from the Isle of Skye, so he knew both cultures, and he included this description of the second sight in his book. A recent writer and seer, Ellie Watt, describes Dà Shealladh as both a gift and a failing. So she writes about her own experience with the second sight. She says she has had experience of the second sight, and this is in her book, Gnosh, without peace, without rest. Okay, so she tells the story. One of the most dramatic instances that she tells of is she foresaw the death of her oldest son. And after she did that, she protected him, didn't let him do what, she saw would happen to him, but left her youngest son vulnerable, and he died in the accident that she had seen. So this is true of second sight. Sometimes it's not exactly accurate. You don't get name, date, and serial number. So she saw her son dying, and she interpreted it as being her oldest son, but it turned out to be her youngest son. Okay, and this is a quote that that is very common. I've seen other people write something to this effect. Those who say that second sight is against the laws of nature or supernatural, she counters that it's only according to the laws of nature that we understand, and that if it happens, it's natural. Okay, got that? It's nothing supernatural about it, just, a law of nature that we don't quite understand yet. Right? Okay, so, and the most famous, Cynnig Or, Kenneth the Sallow, that is very pale skin, the bronze seer. He was born in the mid-1600s, and very famous prophet. So, how he acquired his gift and his divining pebble from the dead. Well, his mother was walking through the graveyard one night, and she encountered a Danish princess ghost coming back to her grave. So she stopped the ghost, and then before she allowed the ghost to continue, she demanded that the princess pay a tribute by giving her son, Kenneth, the gift of second sight. And later that day, Kenneth found a small stone with a hole in the middle, and so there's the stone with the hole, and he found it sticking up through a shean, a fairy mound, and through which he could see visions. Prophecies. So here's some recorded prophecies. The Battle of Culloden, okay, the disastrous battle that spelled the doom of Gaelic culture in the Highlands. And he saw this 50 years or more after his death. And he said, "O Dromosi," that's what they called a Culloder, "thy bleak moor shall, ere many generations have passed away, be stained with the best blood of the Highlands. It'll be a fearful period. Heads will be lopped off by the score, and no mercy shall be shown or quarter given on either side." So he prophesied this before, half a century before the actual battle. He prophesied that the sheep shall eat the men, and this happened 100 years after his death. And so during the Highland clearances of the 17 and 1800s, families were driven from the Highlands by the landowners, and the land they farmed was given over to the grazing of sheep. And so, figuratively speaking, the sheep ate the men. Okay, the people were driven from the land, and the sheep took over. North Sea oil, 200 years after his death. A black rain will bring riches to Aberdeen. So in the North Sea, which Scotland claims all this territory is right here. The map has British sector, but you can see from the border, Scotland claims all this as Scottish oil. Okay, so Scots who want independence keep on saying, you know, we'd be one of the richest countries in the world with this Scottish oil. Okay? But that's the black rain that Cognac predicted. And he predicted Scotland will have its own parliament again. He said when people were able to walk dry shod, that is, with dry feet, from England to France, Scotland will have its own parliament. And in 1994, the tunnel opened up between England and France. And a few years later, the first Scottish Parliament to open since 1707 opened. Okay, so he was right about that. Okay, but he didn't see this one coming. Okay, so this is a little painful irony. Okay, so in his own day, he was still alive. Isabella, the wife of the Earl of Seaforth, up in the north, okay, wanted news of her husband who was on a visit to Paris. And Cognac assured her that her husband was in good health. He was doing fine. He's having a fine time. He's a good boy. He's getting together with friends and all that, okay? But he didn't go any further. She demanded that he tell her everything or she would have him killed. So, forced, he told her that her husband was with another woman who was more beautiful than she was. Well, this did not make her happy, so she had him killed anyway, had him thrown into a barrel of boiling tar. Okay, so maybe he did see it coming. Okay, so, and just before his death, he foretold the end of the Seaforth line, that is the line of that family, with the last heir being deaf and dumb, and that came to pass as well. Okay, so and it actually did happen. So this is distant viewing, right? It actually did happen that her husband was fooling around with another woman in Paris. Okay, so he was right about that. He saw in the distance, he saw in the future. Okay, anyway, and he saw his own end, and he tried to avoid it, but he couldn't. All right, so, and for those who believe that this is just folk mythology, this is tested by one of the fathers of psychology, Carl Jung. Carl Jung was kind of he's accounted as one of the fathers of psychology, along with Sigmund Freud. He's that important. And he wrote, there's no reason whatever to assume that all so-called psychic phenomenon are illusionary effects of our mental processes. So they're not just illusions, okay? In my estimation, second sight is not an illness, but a gift, okay? All right, anyway, so he attested to the belief in the possibility, at least, or the reality of second sight. Gave it a scientific cast, as it were. So, and it's still widely believed. Ian Thompson wrote in his book Isolation Shepherd, no Highlander has any doubt about the existence of the second sight, or indeed simple prognostication. And as I said, I've encountered educated Highlanders, educated Gaels with doctorates, right, who will confess or admit amongst themselves a belief in the second sight. So it's not just a matter of ignorant country folk being superstitious. It's deeply embedded in the culture. Okay. All right. Anyway, so all right. Any questions? Okay. Right. Okay. Very well. Okay. All right. I hope you found that interesting. I know I do.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
I just read a Western scientific report about gut feeling, and they're kind of saying the same thing. That gut feeling may be second sight. that the person may have actually experienced this, which is why you get a gut feeling. So Western science is coming around.
What is that you call it? What kind of
your
feeling?
gut, like if you have a gut feeling about something.
You just an intuit. You feel it would be called like intuition.
Yeah.
Just think,
Okay,
well, this
right,
came. I
okay.
shouldn't go there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll wait another day, and then something.
Now, what happens though in our culture, we're taught to not paying attention to those. In other culture, people go, "Oh, I'd better watch out because I had a dream, I had a feeling." But in our culture, we're taught not to pay any attention to that. That's just a bunch of nonsense. And then you go out and it happens. And you say, "Oh, I had a feeling about that," but
that was why I found it interesting that it was in like a scientific paper that was published in the US. Yeah. So maybe people are coming around.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's interesting you say, Lisa, in a scientific paper, because going through some old magazines like 10 years ago of Science Weekly. It was a big subscription that was paid forever. And so it wasn't my choice. But anyway, some way I had written down and I pulled it out of the magazine, and it says, it's the electric state was what the was about, and it says theoretically speaking, quantum physics says that particles can stay connected way after they come into contact, and if everything exists in a state of electricity, then it's possible our consciousness could transcend physical boundaries. And for some reason, I wrote this down, and then I wrote, cool, then my particles can come visit your particles. I don't know why I wrote it 10 years ago, but to go what she's saying, this was in a scientific thing that they were talking about quantum physics. And probably I wrote it down because I always thought I really should try to figure out a one sentence thing about what quantum physics is for me to talk to some people that I'm related to.
Yeah, and that's very interesting that you bring that up because a lot of times I think we have these ancient beliefs that are sometimes, I don't know when you want to say validated, or as we advance in scientific knowledge, we start to figure out how they work. So, and what you're bringing up is true. So I've read some stuff about that scientists are now looking into the entanglement of particles and how particles that are separated affect each other when there's no way to communicate between them. And they speculate even at opposite ends of the universe. So you have this entanglement of particles. And so the same thing can happen. I mean, so to extrapolate that, something like second sight is based on something like that, a sensitivity to, particles, as you were, at a distance. So anyway, yeah. And as a matter of fact, there's serious physicists who now argue, we talk about, the other world. There's serious physicists who now talk about the multiverse, multiple universes as something that's actually possible. Now, of course, we don't know, but it's something that's very interesting. Ancient mythologies, not just Gaelic, but Gaelic, one of them, have long held such a thing, that there are other universes. So okay. So anyway, so right now, why don't we go to the song? A song. I have a song. Okay, so let me go to the song. Okay. Share screen. Okay, I'll go to screen. Okay. So here we go. Okay. All right. So this is Nuair Og, When I Was Young. Okay, when I was young, right? Okay. So So first, the composer, the singer, okay? No, not the singer on the recording, but the composer, the person who wrote the song. Marivor nan Òran, okay? Big Mary of the songs. Okay, so she was born in the Isle of Skye in the early 1800s. Okay, she moved to Inverness and married her husband, Ian McPherson. So she's also known as Mary McPherson. Okay, and they had 5 children. Following the death of her husband, I guess after 47, after about 24 years of marriage, her husband died. And she got employed as a domestic servant, and she was accused of theft. It's thought that she was accused by a prejudiced other servant who didn't like her because she was Gaelic. Okay, and she was exonerated. And her innocence was believed by the Gaelic-speaking community. And then she moved to Glasgow. And in kind of phase 3 of her life, I guess, she learned to read and write in English and qualified with a nursing certificate and diploma in obstetrics from Glasgow Royal Infirmary. So she taught herself to read and write in English and then qualified as a nurse. Okay. And then after that, she became actively involved in what was known as the Crofters' War and the Highland land issue. And so this has to do in the late 1800s with the Highland clearances. The Crofters were fighting back for their rights, you see, because previous to this, they didn't have any legal rights to the land and they were being kicked off the land. But there was a huge movement at the time to grant them rights, give them tenure on the land. And Mary Vore became involved in that, and very often as a spokesperson and a favorite for her songs. So she kind of I don't know what you'd call it, not so much a political leader, but traveled along and traveled to groups and sang songs and encouraged the people. And so she became immensely popular with Highlanders as she campaigned on their behalf. Okay, so now she wrote this song Nuair Og. So now alongside of that, at this time, and go back here, I don't want us to be distracted. At this time, there was a surge of songs and poetry of Highlanders looking back on their homeland, because, like I said, the Highlands were being depopulated, both because of political action, like following Culloden, okay, and because of the clearances. The clearing of the land, the taking of the land from the Highlanders and turning it over to sheep, as it were, which also included bringing in of English-speaking people to herd the sheep. Okay, so, and most of the reason for this is the landowners figured out that they could make a lot more money with sheep than with people. So, money was more important than people. Okay, so a typical capitalist story, right? Money's more important than people. So anyway, so now alongside of this, a lot of Highlanders are being forced out of the Highlands, either forcibly, at gunpoint, being cleared from the land, sometimes because of poverty, moving to the cities, sometimes emigrating to America or Australia or New Zealand, Canada, mostly the English-speaking world, other parts of the English-speaking world. And there's a huge surge in songs that celebrated the Highlands. Now, one of the things that have I shown you a presentation on Duich?
On what?
Duich?
Duich.
Duich?
It's
country?
Yeah.
Yeah, country? Yeah. Huh?
We just had a couple weeks ago.
Okay, very good. Okay, yeah. So you remember me talking about Duich means country, it means heritage, it means culture, it means land, okay, landscape. It means a lot of different things. They all come together. And so one of the things you'll see in these songs is a mingling of a love of the land and a love of the way of life, a love of the people. Okay, so anyway, that brings us to Deuteronomy Og, when I was young. All right, okay, so, all right. So follow along. So mach smigeri vechen eishlen. Early in the morning as I wake drowsily, vechen eishlen. Martin questions me on os. Martin questions me on os. And I made when I was in Osh, okay. The spray game nich on count a Kayla. The cattle were lowing alongside each other. Spray, a plural noun. Okay, not a singular cow, but like a herd of cattle. So green bolskach slisnam bounten. The sun was rising on Lechan store, and less rising than shining, glittering, on the slopes of the mountains. Gutur na haika na yen foskot. And speedily putting the dark of night under cover, foskot. Tur na haika, putting the night, the yen, speedily, foskot, under cover. Oshmochayun, hain and ushka gralvor. Hain sang the lively cuckoo, okay? Torstamakunya Nuravami O. Reminding me of when I was young, giving to my memory when I was young. Torsnamakunya imich ni rain me.
Rain me.
Imich ni rain me, that I did, okay? Like I me am bound go count how muskiol. Leave me unhappy to the end of my story. Skill, okay. A fall of Sgeulachd, Gului is Banshin. Okay. Going to Kaylee's, and weddings, Banshin, okay. In the winter, okay. Gunsolus launcher, a count on och.
Gunsolus launcher, a count on och.
With no light. Gun solus launcher, okay, light of a lantern, but the end of a peat, but the little piece of peat glowing in the hearth. Vig ogri for recalus downsa.
The
lovely young people would be singing and dancing. Vig ori, young people, groundvor, lovely recale at music and dancing. Achala van town, shin ha glown favron. That time is now gone, and the glen is sad. The glen full vrown, for under sadness, like bronach, the adjective bronach. That time is gone. Gala van taumschen. Van tut es aundra, se lanje entich. Sorry. The Tota would be a ruin, like all across the all across the Highlands now, you'll see ruins of old cottages, old stone cottages, and tourists think, oh, isn't that how quaint, how but we forget that those used to be where people lived. Those used to be thriving communities, And so she refers to this. The ruin of Andrew's house, now full of nettles, lawn full of nettles. Okay. Torshna Macunia Nurvami Og. Putting in my memory when I was young. Nuchumi Kirst Ergach Glaun is Cruachen. As I strayed, as I took a walk in Glen and stack, stack of hay. Okay. Van Romi Swave Nick Akulak Vo. Akulak Vo. I was happy herding or tending the cattle. Okay. Le Ogre Guanach Anish Erfuatach. Anish Erfuatach. With the lively youngsters, Ogre again. Hanish now Erfuatach. Cleared, evicted. Sgeulachd Natua. Sgeulachd Natua.
Sgeulachd Natua.
And the people, kind of a double word for people there. The people of the people, without vanity or guile. Okay, trickery. Okay, just a very honest people. Okay, and no roins, not cluinchen. The pastures and the mossy banks and the banks of the rivers, for ruchis lucher, under heather and rushes, it's all grown over. Okay, for antrikavunach loom, for antrikavunach loom. I often gathered vunach on sheaves of corn. Nam fechen slug, I guess. And nam fechen, if I could see people dwelling there, suis out up there. Okay. Okay. Gumfas and swavnik madavami o. I would grow happy. I would become joyous as I was when I was young. Okay. All right. So that's her song. Okay. So anyway, so I've got a okay, Nudavami o. Okay. So now I've got to switch over to my other computer. Okay. Gav Malishko, got to switch over to my other computer. And I'm going to share the screen and then get us on. All right, okay. Get us on. Share screen. Okay. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna unshare here and go to the other share on my other computer. So just bear with me a moment. Okay. All right. All right. So I should get the other share coming up. Okay. Oh, let me just make sure I've got that. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna stop that share and then okay, there we go. Okay, so I got that. Okay, all right. So now I have the song. Now I have Marivor's song. Marivor's song. Okay, so oh. Nope. Okay, let's go. Where did I put that? I know I have it someplace. No. I can find it. Here? Oh, this it? No, those are the individual slides. No, I want the PowerPoint. Oh, right here. Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. Okay. You see, if I bring up the PowerPoint, I can get the link. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All righty. Okay. Oh. All right. Okay, so you can see the screen now, right?
Gaelic song. Today's song is Nuair Oak by Ann Martin. Now, from the age of 50, Mary Vorn the guy in the 1880s,
I've already told you all
Baird
this
of the
stuff.
Land League.
And you can hear it, right?
Yes.
Can you hear
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Mos mi geir ve kan neislen mating agents mi on nos was brei gein ich in kaune hele sigriane geir lachken stoir Vaga bailish gers lesnim youngin Gortorna na young Voskot is os no hjun Heinjen no shakerian Vor dort namo hein anurva mi ok Dort namo hein mi nach fein min baune guk jaun halmus kjol falas jaurei koloies baischen Gonzales launcher ach jaun not wir oi krieg jaune vor ik jolis danse ach alaven Dort namo hein anurva mi ok Dort hor mi korst gach glaunes krochen Van rami soiv nach kolach Le oi kriguanach an mischer potach De lachne toa Narens na klointjen parach is locher Van trikna poana Lons kop is de law Snam falking sloif Agis tehen soas Ant kum fassing soif Nach marva mi ok An Nuair mi kolen tjejen Kun lek mi skis jammer broichen lon Va boaren minchen trialle skinjek sul mochin weichking loingach poir Van sora fine voice in bjarnen bridge An chlor an rigel les lossen
Oh. All right, well, there we go. Okay, so that's okay. The Nuair by Marty Vola. Okay. All right. So lovely song, I think. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Any questions? Any comments?
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, that was interesting. That was all.
I hope it was more
good.
than interesting. I hope it was inspiring. I hope it filled your heart. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, Aikava, and I will get out all the material and upload all the material, and let me know if there's anything missing, if I've done it. This and okay. All right. Okay.
Cheery.
Okay,
Cheery.
cheery.
Aikava.
Taplet.
Aikava.
Akava.
Akava.
Oh boy.